name's Kevin Gallant, and this is June 12th, 1998, and we're here with Group A. There's 5 groups total demonstrating how to set up systems for a course called VR Systems. And this is Mark and Pat, and they're demonstrating another application in the gaming industry, which is huge for our VR systems. You guys take over, explain what you're up to.
Okay, this game is called Descent 2. It's an older game, probably 3 or 4 years old. I do believe the VREX was made for DOS apps, considering that all the setup is DOS related. They're really hard to hook up, really hard. But once you get them going, they do have a neat effect. What else?
Do they add to the experience, Mark?
Yeah, they really do. It really is. At first, when I first started to hook it up, I thought it was in 3D mode, but it really wasn't, and it just made me sick.
Yeah.
But once you do play, they are really.
So if we had this on a bigger projection system, it would be quite the experience.
It would be very cool on a projection system.
So we're going to look at that in the next few years.
VREX is limited. They only support about 8 games, I think, right now. So
as long as your game goes stereo, interlaced,
yeah.
You can set, if it's Windows 95, you get 3D control on, we can make it 3D.
Yeah.
It's just like Superscape, and Sense 8, it's coming.
One thing nice about Descent 2, where the other ones you have to start them in Windows, this has the actual support in the setup.
Great.
So that's really easy to do. You just select VREX,
yeah.
VR Surfers, and it's ready to roll.
Great. So explain the 3D engine that you're using here.
Well, this is actually called the Descent engine. It was made for Descent 1.
Okay, great.
Descent 1 is probably from 1989 or 90, one of the earlier PC games. It is also a first-person kind of shooter where your perspective view is from the pilot sitting in the cockpit. The idea of the game is to infiltrate enemy mining operations in the future and destroy the reactor core and then make it out before the whole mine detonates. And each level progressively gets harder and harder as it goes.
It's easy to take a surfer like this and take it home. I know you
I had
a lot of time at home. How long did it take to set this up?
I had a way easier time at home to set it up because I had a lot of trouble with the monitors in here.
Yeah.
And all I chose at home was generic monitor, and bam.
Yeah, so monitor configure is a big part.
Yeah, it's a really big part of it, and I didn't realize how big it was until I came here this morning.
So if you were going to a conference with computers you've never seen before,
I bring my own.
Bring your own.
Because I make sure I know how to hook it up, and then I bring the equipment with me.
So Pat, Mark, we're just going to tell students next year, someone that doesn't know much about computers, how long did it take you to set this up? Like, make it really work. Be comfortable with it.
Oh, at least 3 hours.
At least 3 hours. It is quite a half a day time to get it working. Okay, maybe you can show the experience there.
Okay.
The Descent engine is popular. It's one of my favorite games from a couple of years back. And VR Surfer actually have the demo.
Now, also that's important when you play this style of game, or with these the VREX shutter glasses, is where the position of the sensor is.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that was that important, but if you sit up high, if you're taller, then you're going to have a different view than you do if you're shorter.
That's my favorite game for the shoot 'em ups.
Oh, it's an excellent game.
Yeah.
It's outdated now. Like, it doesn't run on the Windows technology. It doesn't support OpenGL. But I did notice actually that they had a Voodoo 2 driver out now.
No way.
On the Interplay site. So that's a really big improvement.
Oh,
I'm sure this game would rock in Voodoo.
Wow.
And if you could get the Voodoo and the VREX running together, you'd be laughing.
So that'd be quite the experience to have a special room with this set up. Get 10 glasses in there.
If you could play this on the big
projection
screens, that would be really amazing.
You know what I found out last week about the VR Surfers? Unfortunately, they don't work with LCD panels. So those screen panels, the flat screen I'm telling you about,
yes.
will not work.
Really?
So we have to stick to projection ones. But the problem with those, the bulbs are $400 or $500 each US. So if they go after 150 hours. It's a lot of bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. That's one thing about systems. They are expensive, but I mean, the only way that the price goes down is by using and buying. So without any support, these VR systems will die.
So you're just using a mouse and keyboard for input.
Yep.
Now that's typical in industry.
Very typical.
Have you tried to use a joystick with Descent? Are you comfortable with it?
Well, see, I play a lot of these games, and I really like the mouse because of the quick moves it gives you, the ability to turn really, really fast.
Did you try to set up a space to work with this?
No, I did not.
That's supposed to be pretty good. Darren was mentioning it's pretty
Also,
sensitive.
I could not get the sound to work because it is a DOS game,
Right.
and the computers in the lab do not have the DOS sound drivers hooked up.
Yeah, no DOS driver.
So
How long would it take you to set that up?
the DOS drivers, if I
Yeah.
had the disc, about 2 minutes.
So you just didn't have permissions to do it, right?
Yeah.
So we
That's-
should be given more permissions in here to do those setups.
Oh, we should be able to configure these systems the way we like them, not the way they like them.
Okay.
I think. I mean, we're the ones, we're the users, right? We should have the say. I mean, I know they want to protect their network and stuff like that, but there's still certain things that we should be able to do. Like turn the screensavers up.
Yeah, yeah. Those are things that are just cumbersome that you need
Yeah.
to do. Well, thank you very much. Great, a lot of information there. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is Group B, and this is Heather and Kirk, and they're doing another VR system presentation using a few tools, a few input and output devices. They're doing another game application. Maybe Heather, you can explain how things are set up. And
we decided to do Hexen 2 as well because it's one of the easiest ones to find the drivers and easiest to download. They're really not hard to find. We have the shutter glasses, which makes it 3D. As for input devices, we're just using the mouse and the keyboard, mainly because most of these, I've played these games before and I'm more comfortable with the keyboard. Just because, I don't know why, I just get that I'm used to it. Setup. When I first set it up with the VR system, VR servers, it took me a good 3.5 hours to figure out how to do it. I actually had to go in and edit the bat file because it was looking for the wrong type of VR servers.
also, we had a lot of problems with the monitor types.
Yeah, the monitor
Getting it
types are
configured.
very, very important.
Yeah. To get it synced right, or you're going to lose your eyes. We
Oh,
spent
yeah.
about an hour
Yeah.
trying to set it up. Yes.
Yeah,
The sounds. What type of sounds does this game support? Does it do any 3D sounds or just standard?
I believe it's just standard sound.
Stereo.
Stereo sound.
Stereo. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But it does have an OpenGL. You can, if you have the Voodoo 2 card, it has OpenGL. You can install an OpenGL option.
Okay, great.
So, but it uses the Glide 2X Voodoo 2 technology to.
Glide 2X.
Yeah, that's the driver for it,
Okay.
and it's only supported by the Voodoo 2 technology.
Well, do they recommend any specific cards in Voodoo 2 that we should be looking at for the lab?
Just probably the generic Voodoo 2
Yeah.
Rush or Voodoo 2 Rush.
Your Nitro 3D is a great
Is it?
Yeah.
card.
Okay.
Or
You don't know how
John-
many polygons per second these are generating?
For these games?
Yeah,
or-
for these games. Or is it how the game is designed more
Quite a few. This actually, the way this game is designed, it looks to be designed as a VR.
for VR game?
It's a VR
3D?
game. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
3D VR game.
Wow.
You can tell by this.
Can you show us some of the game? Like if you notice the screen's kind of interlaced,
Yeah.
and that's what gives it the 3D
Yeah.
effect, right?
Yeah.
Now you're in first-person experience here.
Yeah.
Can you be third-person experience, like
Yeah.
be behind it, second person?
No, it's all first person.
Wow, great.
It's really cool too, the first person. So when things get close to you and you got the VR surfers on,
Yeah.
if they get close, they come right on the monitor.
Wow. Jeez.
The little floating things. It's
Right.
just really, really cool. It
So-
really adds to the game experience.
So to set all this up, it's not that simple. You're gonna have to do a lot of reading, a lot of
Yeah.
understanding the difference between a monitor and
A lot of
graphics
tinkering,
card.
a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
Learn by trial and error. That's how we learned it anyway.
Yeah, for any old person just to get off on it, it might be a little bit harder
Yeah, it
for
might
them
be
to
a
do
little.
it.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
Because you have to go and edit files and stuff that some people just don't know how to.
Yeah. And setting up the frequency rate of the monitors initially.
Yeah, that's up. big.
Yeah.
You have to have that.
Okay.
We weren't. It wasn't working a while ago just because I forgot to set up the frequency rate on the 60 hertz. It's
Okay.
very important. That and where the sensor is.
Okay, yeah, the
Because
sensor
even if
location.
you're a little off,
Yeah.
it'll flicker and it'll.
Ergonomics is a big part of LCD shutter glasses. With the transmitter, the new Vision ones, it's page flipping, but that can really take your eyes out if your refresh rates aren't right. This one here, it's a little safer, but your eyes can get pretty.
But I
bugged
mean,
out.
yeah, I mean, like for VR systems as it is, like if we're gonna learn how to do them, we gotta have them. We gotta sit there. We gotta.
Yeah, you gotta play with.
You gotta have them in your hands, and you've gotta.
And you have
play
to
with
have
them.
access with the driver.
Yeah,
And everything.
and that's another thing too. We have to have access on these computers to put things on, to change the frequency rate, to change the drivers, to change.
Yeah. We can always reload those back up.
Yeah.
Because we got a ghost image of the hard drive, so we can just paste it back after the course is done and it's all back.
Yeah, even if it's just on the hard drive, you don't even have to touch the network at all.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is this a DOS game or Windows game?
This is a Windows game,
Okay.
actually.
Good, cool, good. So do you have to set up the 3D control panel in Windows on and off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
You have
the
to
other
turn.
tools?
You have to turn the 3D switch on.
Okay, great. So it's just an on-off switch after you get it all set up?
Yeah.
So once it stays here and it's there, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Once you figure it out once, it's about
Unless somebody
2
changes
minutes.
Unless somebody
Sick.
moves it or changes it.
Changes configuration or whatnot.
It just, if it doesn't work, just a matter of going in and looking at your properties. Is your frequency rate set properly? Is your screen size set properly? Stuff like that. All of that is crucial.
Okay, let's do a little demo here and show us a little behaviors.
Okay. What are we gonna do here? Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna walk around.
Wow, it's pretty, a lot of textures you can see.
Yeah, a lot of textures.
Wow.
More so than Quake,
Wow.
A little off.
but the polygons look much blockier than Quake does.
Wow. These fighter type games are very common with kids.
Very.
Yeah.
Extremely popular, especially through multiplayer network.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
probably
this is a multiplayer as well.
Oh wow. On the network.
You can play it on the net and on the network.
Actually, in the VR Networks course, we've actually used games in a network environment for that course. So.
that'd be cool
Yeah.
if you could have a bunch of people all around.
Yeah, we're gonna be
with
doing that.
Shutter glasses on,
Yeah.
playing 3D against each other.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Because this isn't a workable game.
You don't know what type of protocols. It must be an IPX protocol. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, IPX,
TCIP?
Just
Can you do it through the
TCIP.
internet?
I think this is possible.
To the
Yeah, this
internet.
is.
I'm
There
not
is a
sure.
site. It's like Diablo. There's like a BattleNet site where you can go on the internet and play multiplayer.
Multiplayer?
Yeah,
Great.
through the internet. It would be
Great.
really neat if you play multiplayer with the shutter glasses.
So is there any background music or just sound effects for this?
Well, there's sound effects. I have the music.
So it's a configuration in the game itself to do all your...
Yeah,
Oh, it
yeah.
does MIDI sound too?
Yeah, I mentioned we have that in the
Even the control bars have a sound effect on them.
wearing headphones playing these games enhances it a lot. too.
Yeah.
So you don't hear no outside interference.
But there's not really much for music.
No.
It's mostly off the city, and this is just a demo, so.
Yeah.
More or less no music, just
No,
gives
it's
more of a
awesome
realistic-
textures. They're really improving the textures.
Yeah. Textures are
Yeah.
nice.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate you taking the time and great presentation. And now you know how long it takes to set this up.
Yeah, really.
Okay, thanks. And we're here with Group C, and they're ready to show us a demo. Spokesperson, you can go ahead.
Okay, what we're doing here is we're setting up an interactive VR systems device. What we're using here is, this is a VR Surfer. We just got these in, last week?
Yeah.
They're neat little glasses. They're a little hard to set up, but the result is pretty cool. We're working on a Dell 300, and the program that we're using is Hexen 2 on VREX 3D. And I guess the entire purpose of this course is to learn how to set up a 3D device with the hardware and the software and make it interact. And that's what we're going to do. And I don't know if they can do that. This little, okay, input devices. Input the mouse and the keyboard That's it for input devices, I guess. Output devices are the monitor, this little rig here which sends a signal to the glasses so that they actually give us a 3D effect, and the speakers for sound effects. And I'm going to give this a try. Did you want to try it, Kev?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll have lots of time later.
This can be pretty hard on the eyeballs. Yeah, all right. Woo. Okay. Oh yeah. This is what do you call these kinds of games? It's a first person shooter. Anybody?
First person shooter.
First person shooter.
Is there some sound on this? Is that?
There's sound effects.
Turn her up. Let's hear it.
Okay, we're
Let's
not.
give the audience a
there's
little,
like a little
Let's turn her right up, full blast.
Okay, there's little crows and birds going on, but we actually have to do something. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay, Roger's got it.
So it's pretty hard to run the mouse with the search
Okay,
glass at
I'm
the same
not
time.
familiar with this game, so maybe I'll let somebody else.
Yeah,
try
why
that.
don't Roger, why don't you?
Take your truck through it there and make some
Good.
pretty sounds.
Good intro there, Giselle. Good intro. So a lot of sound effects with this game, right?
Oh yeah, it's cool.
What's the game called again?
Hexen 1X.
I don't know why the sound's not working. It worked yesterday.
It's working.
The sound effects are working, so.
Well, the music's from CD, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. They actually have the CD in there for the music, so get that on the hard drive.
So
There we go.
a lot of Hexen games being sold right now.
I'm not sure. It's a very popular game.
So for $49, if you put on those glasses, you get a 3D experience in this, right?
Absolutely.
So probably a lot of kids just don't know about these glasses that interact with these 3D games. So how's the experience in that? Did you all try it for a while?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How long did it take you to set up this?
3 hours.
3 hours? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had a conference, it'd be pretty. You have to give yourself at least half a day to set up something
Bring
covering the
everything
sheet.
with you.
Yeah, you get double of everything.
Yeah.
Don't wait on the VREX site.
Okay.
Well, if we would have had our drivers and everything before we started, probably would have taken about 45 minutes to an hour, whatever.
Now, did you have to add a special patch to make this work in the game, or just hit some type of 3D control panel?
No, there was a patch from Hexen to the VR Surfer to make it.
Okay, so you had to get them from both sites? Both?
I don't know.
Yeah.
VREX.
Is it all from VREX? Yeah.
All from VREX?
VREX made them.
Okay, so it's all from the manufacturer. Good. Well, that's great, guys. Hopefully we can present this to future gamers to add some more 3D into their games. So you're winning?
Are you?
You can look down, Aaron.
Yeah.
How much is Hexen too? Just curious.
You can
$69.99.
$69.99. Is that
download
US?
the demo for free.
Canadian.
Looks like spiders.
Does Hexen 2 support OpenGL too? And
Yes.
Good.
That's what happens when you die.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, this is Ryan, Melanie, and Rick.
Michelle.
Okay. You didn't want to be on camera.
Get a close up.
So, I don't know too much about hardware, and our group's been trying to set these things up for a while now. We tried on a whole bunch of different computers, and we use this one because everybody else is working on this one. So, and they're really hard to set up, but it's really neat, 3D and everything. You know, adds a lot to the experience, I think.
Do you recommend like this engine? What are you using for an engine for your game? Direct 3D OpenGL, the Ascend engine? It's Direct 3D. So Direct 3D seems to be the wave in all this technology. So if you're going to develop your own product, Direct 3D is the wave.
Oh, yeah.
And all our tools, Sensei and Superscape, also put Direct 3D to prototype games like this, and then move them to this environment. If you got a nice idea, you can, as long as we stick to Direct 3D, we're laughed pretty much. So that's the industry standard, pretty much. So,
Do you want me to?
yeah, just show, why don't you show how you gotta turn the 3D on, I guess, to make it work. It's a VR Surfer driver that turns the interlaced mode on for the LCD shutter glasses. And that's a specific driver by VREX, the company that makes these glasses. What are you using for an input? A mouse and a
Mouse and
keyboard.
keyboard.
Do you find that pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way you play 3D games. Keyboard.
Yeah, for playing first-person perspective 3D shooters, mouse and keyboard. It's
Okay.
pretty much
The
it's
standard.
the standard. And it's, once you get used, it takes a bit to get used to it, but once you get used to it, you get quite good.
Have you tried the haptic joystick? It's supposed to be supported in these games. So when you hit the wall, you feel the feedback.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be an added sensory?
it would
to
be an added sensory, but as far as controlling your character,
The movements?
I don't
No
know
way.
if that would be as efficient as the mouse and keyboard.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Always comes down to the mouse and keyboard, doesn't it?
It's
Well, I was using that space orb for a little while there
Right.
on Jedi Knight,
Yeah, that's
which
right.
isn't supported by the VR Surfers. But like it's really weird to get used to. But I guess if you get used to it, you can beat a mouse player any day with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
so they say.
Yeah, that's what Darren says. The game is. You may. I don't know. That's what he says. But he's talking to guys too. So I don't know how many games he's been playing with it. So what's this game descent to? How much is this game? Curious. I know that Hex was about $69. Hex 2. Is this in that
It's
same
pretty much
range?
the standard
Same
for,
range?
yeah.
Okay. So this is not over $100.
You won't see really any over $100 games for a first-person perspective.
Now, would you
Oh,
if you had this game set up in an arcade and a projection system, would you be paid for this game if you had a bunch of LCD shutter glasses? If you were away in projection, you see in 3D, would that give it an additive value to the game experience?
I think if they use like a projection dome,
That's like a cab where the dome's all the way around. That would be quite a.
That would be the
if you
ultimate.
had like, if you were standing and you had like, be able to, you were like joysticks to control your movement either forward, to rotate,
Right?
and then you could have like either shooters or
On the
upper
right.
6 degrees
Yeah.
of freedom.
Yeah. 6 degrees freedom.
If you had your 6 degrees of freedom, like, oh yeah. It'd be pretty
That's another thing we learned in this course is 6 degrees of freedom. The yaw, pitch, and roll, the movements, X, Y, and Z. These are things that we have to understand how they work with these devices. And that's why this course is here. Hopefully you get more time to play around with the devices. It is a tool, a hardware tool. Exactly, and understand how to hook them up, let alone use them. And that's the critical part, because basically, you've got the LCD, the VR Surfers, where they hook up and they piggyback on your monitor, basically. A simple setup, you don't need a special card. The joystick, you hook up to a standard port, or serial port, a joystick. The one thing we had to do in this lab is add a joystick port, because these are business machines. So there's a lot of things you gotta think about, and how many pins are in the joystick cables, so, you know, there's a lot of technical setup.
especially when you're dealing with, like this, like you said, these are business machines. They're not full-fledged games. You don't have like your voodoo card.
No. So these are just standard games,
Yeah.
standard configuration. Oh, the 3 Descent 2. You don't know how people can develop that same technology.
stuck up here.
You don't know how it was developed. You're curious, like the background, like was it developed using Softimage 3D Max, the original 3D worlds. Do they have their own engine?
I
You
think
know,
they use Alias, probably.
They use
A lot of the
Alias?
game companies use
They're using
Alias.
Alias now as well.
Yeah, Softimage.
Softimage? Okay, just curious. Because we're looking at getting into Softimage because they are kind of gamer tools that are coming out to make.
Softimage is pretty much, I find, leading the.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a chance to try these games with the head-mounted displays like VRs?
No.
Are they supported? Do you know? Just curious.
I think the Cybermax is supported on
Cybermax?
Yeah.
on a couple of them.
Yeah, there's new drivers I downloaded the other day for CyberMax.
We were gonna do a game for the virtual I/O, but you found it's out of business now.
Yeah, well, they're still selling them.
Yeah.
And it's been rebought. Yeah, some of the emails you get are internet pages. Michelle said found one from last March. Someone recently bought them out, so they're still selling them. Yeah, they still have them, and they're mainly used for dentist checks, for distractions, and surgery, and video camera, so they can view the image while still seeing through that glass without looking through the camera. They just move the camera around while standing up like this. So there's a lot of applications besides just gaming that's using your VR devices. Well, thanks a lot for a very informative presentation. Thanks for the time. Group B, Sean, Brian, Scott, Stacy. They're doing a kind of a different application of VR systems. They're using an authoring system called Superscape. And they can actually build their own worlds. It's an authoring tool that allows them to bring their own objects into virtual reality. Superscape is basically from England, and they're originally a design company, or a game design company, and now they're looking at training tools and a lot of other applications. And maybe Stacy, or someone, or Sean, you can talk about this application.
Okay, it's World Editor. You can put in your own objects. It's pretty simple. You just go into your warehouse and throw in stuff wherever you want it. With Helicopter, you can actually navigate around the world by using the input device, the mouse. And there's a joystick here also that you can set up to use to navigate the helicopter. It looks a little fuzzy right now on the screen, but it's because 3D's on, making the image jump out towards the glasses. So it's 3D for Stacy.
Grab a couple more glasses there, Scott. Because we're gonna try something. We can actually view a lot of what VR surfers on screen with a number of glasses. So we're gonna put on a couple of glasses here. We just need the glasses. So what kind of sounds do you have in here? You have a background sound.
Yeah, there's the music and that just came with, I think it was the palace. And then the helicopter blades chopping in the air.
So you're using the VR surfers for an output device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the speakers and monitor.
So a couple of us, we'll put on some more surfer glasses here. Just push this little white button from the inside. And let's see if we can all see this at once while Stacy's doing. Yep, no problem there. You just got to make sure you're close to the transmitter. So Stacy, why don't you guide us into this virtual world, what's happening here? Everybody got their power on? Yeah. Okay. Just take your, get the music up. So we're going through this looks like a landscape of buildings that we did. And the only way to see this is with the LCD shutter glasses in interlaced mode that Superscape offers as a functionality of their software. You know what type of engine this is used, guys?
Direct 3D.
You got it, yeah. And Superscape supports Direct 3D players. They can also play right on the net. That's a pretty good view from here, actually.
It's pretty easy to set up, actually,
Yeah.
once we
So,
got it on the right computer.
yeah, so you need two views to make this. That are, the actual camera is actually linked with the helicopter.
Yeah.
So you don't get lost. So you learn how to set up viewpoints, basically, so while the camera moves, it moves with the helicopter. So you don't get lost. If you didn't, the helicopter would be out in Never Never Land, you wouldn't be able to find it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good application. And that helicopter was a default clip art, right? Stacey, we didn't have to program anything.
No, you just go in the warehouse and grab it.
So right now we're just using a mouse as the input device, but we could possibly use a joystick or anything that Superscape supports.
Yeah.
Glove. Yeah, we learned how to set up the glove there in Sensei one day. So it's a Direct 3D.
Yep.
And we're using a background sound and sound effect with the helicopter. You could also probably even add narration in there. You could have someone narrating a tour of the city if you wanted to, and add a narrated sound. So you could have three types of sound for this application.
Probably actually have street cars in the background and stuff like that.
Now, soon, with 98, you're allowed to do dual monitor display. So maybe Superscape down the road will support a normal monitor for normal viewing and your 3D viewing.
Yeah.
So we could get into... The problem is the general public without these glasses will not be able to see anything coming out of the screen. One thing to note, some people can't even see 3D. Only less than 10% of the population cannot see 3D in the real world. And so you've got to have a normal display for this, for these. That's another thing that you have to look at in the real world.
But if they wanted to navigate this world, they don't have to have the 3D.
Exactly. And the sound adds 10 times the experience.
Yeah.
Without sound, why don't you just turn the sound off and you can find the difference. We'll just turn it off, I can turn the volume down. The same experience is not there. So sound really adds, which we do in VR systems. What else I want to mention? So these models, these are custom objects found in Superscape that you can incorporate into your project. Great simple demo. How many hours do you think it's totally spent? Right from the start. You said
Right from the start, going from computer to computer?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say about 3 hours.
Okay.
But once we kind of figured it out, it was easy, like half an hour to set it up. No problem on the computer now, probably. Yeah.
That was great moving. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Great project. And hope to see you continue on more research on this. Take care.